On this week's Rebel Report, the Golden Knights have quickly become a beloved part of Las Vegas, so much that there is now an entire week dedicated to the fans.
Going to the playoffs! Yes, we are!
Our guest this week is Las Vegas Lights owner Brett Lashbrook. The team is well into their first season and undefeated. Locals are excited to see what the future of the team holds. We also cover a club sport at UNLV that you may not know about, but you no doubt have played before. The Rebel Report starts right now. Welcome back to the Rebel Report for the 5th show of Season 5. We hope everyone enjoyed their spring break vacation. I'm Marco Santander.
And I'm Naishwan Zaragoza. This week we will see what the Golden Knights are up to before the playoffs begin and give our viewers an exclusive look at what really goes into making the Rebel Report.
The NHL playoffs begin April 11th, and that's likely the date the Knights will play its very first ever playoff game. Game 1 tickets sold out in less than 1 hour.
Vegas broke a ton of records during its first season in the NHL. Michaela Jackson is live in studio to give us more on the newly crowned Pacific Division champions.
Thanks, guys. The Golden Knights clinched their playoff spot after they beat Colorado 4-1 on March 26. Playoffs start April 11th. Here at a first look is the practice experience and how the Golden Knights are preparing for the playoffs. You can catch the Golden Knights practice at City National Arena for free. Fans got the chance to watch the Golden Knights practice after they earned themselves a ticket to playoffs. The Golden Knights defenseman Brad Hunt talks about the atmosphere the fans project at the practice rink.
It's incredible. I mean, they've showed support for us the whole year. It's been, whether it's here at T-Mobile or in the community, it's been one of the coolest places I've ever played. So it makes practice, instead of just coming into an empty building or whatnot, you're in front of your home crowd, so it's maybe put a little bit more performance.
The Golden Knights' last regular season game is April 7th. Then they will return to T-Mobile Arena with their first playoff game. Vegas became the first expansion team to clinch a playoff spot since the Oilers did so in 1979 to 1980. Golden Knights are one of the 16 teams to compete for the Stanley Cup. James Neal, Marc-Andre Fleury, and David Perron all have playoff experience. We caught up with Ryan Reeves to talk about postseason.
Yeah, I think I would say, 15 last 10 games of the season, you got to start putting playoff efforts on the ice. Because playoffs get ramped up right away, and you can't wait for it to just happen and think you can adjust. It's got to happen before the playoffs start, otherwise you're going to get surprised.
The Golden Knights head into playoffs as the Pacific Division champions after they beat the San Jose Sharks 3-2. As of April 2nd, the Golden Knights are set to play wildcard number 1, the Los Angeles Kings, in the first round of playoffs. The incredible story continues for the Knights as they begin their journey for the Stanley Cup. Stay tuned for updates here on the Rebel Report. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Michaela. As of April 5th, the Golden Knights have earned 109 points, another record for an expansion team.
Knights fans are being considered among the best in the NHL.
To honor this special title, fans had the opportunity to celebrate it for a whole week. David and I were on a unique assignment, Fan Appreciation Week.
We're here at T-Mobile Arena for Vegas Golden Knights Fan Appreciation Week, and we're on a special mission to find the rowdiest Golden Knights fan.
Go Knights, go! Go Knights, go!
Go Knights, go! Woo!
The Golden Knights' first regular season at T-Mobile Arena has come to a close, and owner Bill Foley and company decided to make the final week one to remember for the best fans in the NHL with Fan Appreciation Week, having the Knights play 4 times in 6 days and having free giveaways for all fans in attendance all season long. Fans have piled into the Fortress, and night in and night out, they've made sure to show just how much they love this team.
The team came in here during a time when everybody just didn't know what was going on. There was a lot of hurt people, a lot of emotions, and it just gave people an outlet, and people rallied behind that outlet, and they formed this bond, and that bond just helped this team, and it's just kind of like they fed off of each other.
The season has been a special one for the community, with the Golden Knights retiring the number 58 in their final home game to honor those killed in the October 1st shooting. And with the instant success of the team, it gave the city of Las Vegas just the positive story it needed.
So much of what this team stands for is the coming together of Las Vegas as a city, as fans, as a sports team, all brought together by the events of October 1. So it's always going to be inscribed in the history of the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
The way that the fans support the team, the way that the team supports the community, it's a great blend. I mean, everybody's come together since 1 October. They've just been such a tremendous part of this community. It's absolutely great. They're in our grade schools, they're in our first responder stations. They're just always there, so it's a great thing.
The Golden Knights managed to win the Pacific Division title in their final regular season home game. But the players and Coach Gallant know just how important the fans have been to this team's success.
I think our fans have been unbelievable. I say that every night in our press conferences, and I'm not lying to anybody. We've got the best fans in the league. They're real loud. I can barely hear myself trying to change lines half the time, but that's why we got 4 coaches on the bench to keep yelling at the guys. The next guys are up, but it makes it fun. I know our guys love playing in front of our fans with the noise in this building, and like I said, it's an extra player for us.
I can't say enough about them. They've, the passion they've brought to the rink every night, the energy. It's pretty cool to play in front of every game. So I can't thank them enough. It's been a fun season so far, and it's just going to continue to get better.
All right, guys, that's it from Fan Appreciation Week. We'll root for the Golden Knights in the playoffs, but for now, let's go to Beer House. For Rebel Report, I'm David Stepanian.
So, Marcos, this was your first game, right?
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I've always heard that the Golden Knights fans bring a bunch of energy, and it's not the same, definitely, when they tell you when you're in there. It was pretty amazing. Definitely.
I'm excited. I'm going to go to my first game next Wednesday, so I'll be the fan with my brand new jersey painted in my face and be extra rowdy. So I'm excited.
Boy. Well, you better scream nice and loud. Trust me.
Back here on campus, UNLV is home to a variety of sports, but one that you might not know about is bowling.
Our reporter Lupita Negrete went to the Orleans to catch up on the UNLV bowling team and find out how you can get involved with them too.
At UNLV, we have the NCAA sanctioned sports like football and basketball. We also have the club sports like rugby and lacrosse and bowling. Strikes, lots of traveling, and friendships. Those are some of the things you'll get with the UNLV bowling team. But one thing that's missing, the support. UNLV Bowling has been around for well over 10 years. They compete in tournaments nationally under the U.S. Bowling Congress Collegiate Division and have even been ranked in the top 20 in the country several years. Just recently, the team was named the 2018 Tony Reyes Memorial Collegiate Classic champions. But despite all the achievements the team's made, some people still don't even know that UNLV has a bowling team.
I just think people need more exposure to it. A lot of people think it's more of like a fun recreational activity, which it is, but it's also a sport. There's a lot of people, there's millions of people across the country that take it seriously like us, and it's just a growing sport. There's a lot of people that do it. There's a lot of schools that do it. We just came back from a tournament where 80 teams competed across the country, so I just think people need more exposure, just a learning experience more than anything.
And it's not just fan support they're missing. The team, for the most part, has to pay for their own expenses.
So the school only pays for our entries right now because we have very limited funding, but when we travel, we pay for our airlines, rental cars, hotel rooms, food, all that.
But despite all this, the team's members still love being a part of it all.
My parents own a bowling center in Texas, so I got into bowling just because I was forced to. And then my dad was actually, he worked for the Professional Bowlers Tour, so I got to tour with him a little bit when I was younger. So I've basically grown up with bowling.
I think the best part is we're a club, so we have a little more freedom than other programs. So we get kind of the best of both worlds where we work hard at a lot of stuff, but we also have some fun. So we get to travel and experience different things, and it's just a really good experience, especially in college.
The team also assures that they are open to new members joining.
We bowl in the Orleans, so this is where we bowl every week. We have a bunch of tournaments here. we get to travel the country. Like, who doesn't want to do that? I mean, we have multiple members that last week we went to Texas, or this past weekend, and half of them have never been there. So it's like you get to travel with people that you actually like and do some stuff that you've never done before. So why wouldn't you want to do that? And then you get to bowl all the time. I mean, we are welcome to anyone, whether you're like super good or if you're super bad, it doesn't really matter. We just want people to like enjoy themselves, at least for like a few hours a week.
The bowling team has finished their season, but they'll be back in the fall, and you are welcome to join in. For the Rebel Report, I'm Lupita Negrete.
Tryouts for the team will begin next fall, and you can look for them at the next involvement fair on campus if you're interested in joining.
We get the pleasure of checking out our legendary boxing gym today. Casey Carpenter has more.
Johnny Toko's is one of the oldest gyms in the country. Mr. Toko opened it in the early 50s and operated it for over 40 years as a trainer to many successful boxers. It's the oldest gym in Vegas. Elite boxing trainer Luis Monda has more.
It used to be a mob bar. And Johnny Toko, being Italian, had some connections. He asked them if he could turn the bar into a gym. They said yes. They granted him permission. He turned it into a gym. And a few years later, a gangster who was also a boxing manager by the name of Blinky Palermo brought him a kid from St. Louis who had had a few pro fights. And he said, hey, we got this kid. We think he's got something. You want to handle him? And he said, sure. And then that was Sonny Liston. So this became Sonny Liston's home gym. Johnny Toko and Angelo Dundee were very good friends. So Ali trained here for a little while also. He was very good friends with Lou D'Amato, also known as Cuss. So anytime Tyson was in Vegas, he trained here. We tell people this is like boxing church. Like, this is holy ground. Anybody who's anybody. When the Mayweathers first moved here from Michigan, this was the gym they trained at. This is where pretty much everybody has come.
Standish Buried recently had his second amateur fight and is looking to keep up his undefeated record. A light welterweight fighter out of the Army Infantry last year, he's up for experiencing the pressure of a different type of war.
I've been through some wars, hard training. I've been in Afghanistan, but in that ring, it's a different type of war. It's only you out there on the battlefield. You have the other guys with you, but in that ring, in that square circle, it's just you. So.
Coach John Maynard Roberts has been at Johnny Toko's for over 15 years, and his boxing royalty roots connects all the way back to Archie Moore with his training.
What I teach is literally old school boxing from the ground up. And I have my people spar when they're ready. I put them in there with people that are much more experienced that don't hit back right away, but as they get more proficient with their defense, they start getting hit, and it's full blast. You ain't gonna learn any other way. All the drills in the world ain't gonna teach you how to box. All the bags, all the speed bags. The only way you learn how to box is by boxing.
Standing with an 8-1-1 record with 2 knockouts, he's worked with Roy Jones Jr. Promotions as well as the Money Team, and he's looking forward to his next fight.
As you can see, you at my home, Johnny Toko's. I love it. We do the same thing, just different that we work hard. Hard work, dedication, that's what get our jobs done.
Johnny Toko's used to be a professional-only gym, and as of late, with the latest dedicated owners, now they have a flourishing list of up-and-comers for us to cover for you. For the Rebel Report, this is Casey Carpenter.
With Las Vegas being the boxing capital of the world, it's only fitting that we have a boxing church. What a great history lesson. But now let's send it over to Marcos for this week's Rebel Report Timeout.
Rebel Report Timeout.
Hello, welcome to Rebel Report Timeout. We have today with us the owner of Las Vegas Lights, Brett Lashbrook. How's it going, Brett?
It is fantastic. It's great to be here. I'm a big UNLV fan, so it's really, really exciting to be here.
This is interview like, what, 50, 100, 200?
We're growing the game, one interview at a time, one fan at a time, one game at a time, so it's all exciting.
Tell me, how does it feel? It must be pretty exciting to be you right now. I mean, the Las Vegas Lights are undefeated. They beat Fresno for the, the first game.
So I always answer that question in the last week. I'm not going to take the blame when we lose, so I can't take the credit when we win. So we have a great coach and the players, but it is really, really exciting, right? We're 3 games into the regular season, 6 games into our history. We're undefeated in the regular season. We're sitting in first place. We've had over 50,000 people from here in Las Vegas go through the turnstiles in downtown at Cashman Field. We are a soccer city. There's 2.2 million of us. Before the lights came, we were the second largest city in the entire world without a professional soccer team. And we are young, we are diverse, we love the sport. The problem is we don't have enough grass fields for the kids to play on here, right? Young adults are watching the game, playing the game. We are a soccer city, and to see it happen right now, we're only in April of our first season, and to see the excitement, to see the support, to see the full houses, it's just a real testament to the sport of the growth of the sport here in the United States, but also just to Las Vegas as a city.
So when you wanted to bring the team here, what was going through your mind? Why Las Vegas?
It's kind of what I had talked about, right? So on a personal level, my family's lived out here for 20 years, and my mother was living in Summerlin a couple years ago, and she was going through some health issues. And so I had worked at the Major League Soccer League office and then helped start a Major League Soccer team in Orlando. So I came out here in 2015 and realized, hey, I have this skill set. I'm fortunate that my family has the capital to do a project like this. But the most difficult thing is finding a stadium. And it didn't take but 2.2 seconds to realize Las Vegas has a wonderful asset in Cashman Field. In the heart of downtown, 20 minutes from anywhere in the metro area. It was built for soccer originally. It's a 10,000-seat soccer stadium, and it's in Las Vegas. It was the second largest city in the world without a team. Again, young, diverse. It's a working-class city where our $20 ticket price fits perfectly into it. It didn't take long to realize this was a perfect match. And then look at the growth of the sport, right? It's happening in markets that are smaller than us. It's happening in markets all across the U.S. and Canada. Major League Soccer has more fans per game than the NBA and the NHL. Wow. Soccer is here, and Las Vegas, we're finally at the party.
So then what's it like a day in the life of Brett?
Well, life of the Brett, it's all about how do we grow the lights, how do we grow the lights. What I say is I need everyone in Las Vegas to give us one shot. Come to one game. If you've never been to Cashman Field, you won't believe that this jewel is in our community, right? 0.2 miles from Fremont Street. It's, again, 20 minutes from anywhere. If you've been to Cashman Field for a baseball game, give us a shot. Because we're taking out the pitcher's mound, we're taking out all the dirt, we're bringing in grass, we're covering all the signs, we're putting 10,000 fans in there, and they are singing and they're dancing and they're cheering and they're marching and they're drums and trumpets and smokes and flags, and it is a whole different experience. That's what I work on every single day. I wake up, and the staff and the players and the coaches, how do we convince just one more person in Las Vegas to come give us a shot? Because we know if we can get you into the stadium and you can experience that game day experience, you're going to come back.
So you were the COO of Orlando Soccer, right? How is this different, being the owner and CEO of your own soccer team?
Well, it's always different when you're writing the checks, right? I'll say that always makes it that much more personal. But it's very similar, right? There is a blueprint that is working across the U.S. and Canada. What I say is the rest of the world can't be wrong with the growth of soccer and it being hands down, without a doubt, the most popular sport. And you look at the sport today, we're using that exact same playbook that's been working in all these other markets, but we're in Las Vegas, and we love being in Las Vegas, and we embrace being in Las Vegas. From our jersey, from our logo, from our coach, from our playing to our playing style. It's taking that Orlando project, what's been happening all across the U.S., but Vegas-fying it, for lack of a better term. I don't know how to spell Vegas-fying, but that's what we're doing to it.
And then one last question. What are some of the perks, would you say, of being the owner of the lights?
The perks is just getting to, to be able to do something like this, right? It's really cool to build something with a blank sheet of paper, right? With your own hands, and then to bring the fans and the players and the coaches and the staff all along. But, we were joking right before we went on the air. 7 months ago, we literally were a blank sheet of paper. We didn't have a team name, we didn't have a logo, we didn't have a coach, we didn't have a stadium, we didn't have a player, we didn't have a fan, we didn't have a season ticket member, we didn't have a sponsor. And to see how much we've done in those 7 months, we're just getting started. We're absolutely just getting started. Please, everyone, if you can come on out to Cashman Field, you can get more information on our schedule on lightsfc.com. It is a wonderful experience. A little slice of Mexico City and London and Barcelona and Madrid is happening right here in downtown Las Vegas with professional soccer and the lights.
Wow, sounds amazing. I might go again and cover another game.
I love it. Welcome anytime.
Thank you so much, Brett, for stopping by the Rubber Report. Now we're going to send it off to the panel.
Welcome to today's panel discussion. I'm joined by Cece, Michaela, and the world-famous John Castanino. And we're going to be talking about March Madness, the NHL playoffs, and we are on the campus of UNLV, so we got to throw some UNLV baseball in there. So first, I'll get into our resident March Madness expert, John Castanino.
You're just kissing up, man. It's working, though.
Well, we had the upsets, the overtime thrillers, buzzer beaters. Not a very exciting title game, but overall it was a rating success. What is your take on this year's March Madness?
The dominance of Villanova, I think. I think they've certainly established themselves as one of the great all-time NCAA tournament teams. You look at what they've done. They won every game by double digits. They covered the spread, and I know you're an expert on point spreads. They covered the spread in all 6 games that they played. That should show you the dominance. Now, they go into the Final Four, they go into the title game, and there was a little fear. I think it was 28 years to the day that UNLV set the record for highest point margin, highest margin of victory in an NCAA tournament game, which, of course, Duke, and, of course, we crushed Duke. And pardon me for saying we, I am an alum. But there was a point in the Villanova game where they were up by 20, 23 points, and some Rebel fans were getting a little nervous. I mean, we hang our hat on those records, a 3-point record. So I didn't think the championship game was good. Thankfully, they didn't set the record. Loyola, great story. So it was a great tournament from start to finish. Would have liked to have seen a little bit more excitement in the 2 Final Four games in the championship game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I was worried for a second that they were going to break UNLV's 30-point record, and it was the most dominant run since 2009. North Carolina won all their games by double digits, covered all the spreads in those games, and Villanova did just the same exact thing. But Loyola Chicago, Sister Jean, there was a ton of great stories.
That was cool.
And Reno making it to the Sweet 16. I know we're UNLV.
2 weeks ago, the panel was like, oh, yeah, I'm cheering for Reno. Like, what school do you guys go to, okay? No, I was not cheering for the Wolfpack, sorry. And one shining moment, they only showed them twice, thankfully, and the big package at the end. So that made me happy seeing that. So, sorry, I'm not a Reno guy. I'm not cheering for them. I don't want to see them go far in the tournament at all. Musselman's a great coach, though. I will give him that.
The one thing I definitely got to ask you, Virginia, first #1 seed to ever lose to a 16 seed. I know it's been a couple weeks now, but what do you think about that?
But we're in the age now where that's going to happen, okay? Parity is abound. You see the 2 15s. You see those matchups more commonly where the 15 seed wins. I think it was only a matter of time, and it's disappointing, but Virginia was the perfect team to lose because they're a defensive team. If they can't score, they're not going to win a basketball game. So while it's shocking and surprising that they were the first, I'm not surprised in the sense that it finally happened.
And Michaela, Golden Knights won the Pacific Division. Congrats to them, first inaugural team to win a division, not go to the playoffs, but to win a division in their inaugural season. What do you think about the Golden Knights heading into the playoffs? You like their chances?
I'm so excited for our team to be going to the playoffs, but at the moment it's between the LA Kings and Anaheim, and then a couple of days ago we're going to face the LA Kings. Yesterday it was Anaheim, and now we're going to face the Kings because Anaheim is up by 1 point. So it's just the fact that these 2 teams have already been to the playoffs, and this is our first playoff as a team. And it'll just be a good turnout for our fans to get in there and watch.
And regardless, these are all tough teams going into the playoffs, even if it becomes the Colorado Avalanche, unlikely. But even them, all of these are tough teams with a chance to win at T-Mobile Arena. So, Cece, since we are on the campus of UNLV, I got to throw some Rebel baseball at you, got to throw that pitch at you. But what's going on with that baseball team? They've lost 6 of their last 8 games. They started off hot. They dropped out of the rankings. What's been going on with UNLV? You think it's time to press the panic button?
I think it's definitely disappointing seeing them lose lately, just because they were doing so well at the beginning of the season, and we're going into the last month of the season. But I think with Mountain West coming up in a month, I think as long as they work on some of the things that they've been lacking in the last few games, like as long as they work on their pitching, and I think we could go in strong to Mountain West. And then if we do that, we'll recover from this slight turn back that we've seen.
Every team has a lull, David. Come on.
Yeah, but this is crunch time, man.
You're right. But they've had a really great start to the season.
All right, well, that's all we have for today's panel discussion. Thank you, Cece, Michaela, and my favorite, my man, John Castanino. We're going to take it over to the desk. Thanks, guys.
Earlier in the show, we showed you how the Golden Knights wrapped up the regular season, including another tribute to the victims of the October 1st tragedy.
Recently, hundreds came out to skate for a cause at a city national arena to help the survivors of 1 October. Michaela Jackson has more, and the Rebel survivor hosting this Vegas Strong event.
You know his story. UNLV assistant hockey coach Nick Robone was shot in the 1 October shooting. He's back on the ice, and now he wants to get back to those who are suffering from PTSD. Nick held a Vegas Strong public skate fundraiser at City National Arena to help those with PTSD who survived 1 October. Nick wanted to find a way to give back to the community, so he hosted this event.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are still struggling from the effects of October 1st, and my goal was always try and help those people out, so I wanted to do something for the longest time now, and now that I'm feeling better, I thought a fundraiser would be great for helping PTSD victims. There's a lot of people that are getting treatment now, but in the future, they might not have that.
All of the proceeds go to those suffering from PTSD, so they don't have to pay for counseling. Therapist Christine Lawler spoke about PTSD and how she is helping this event.
So PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder, and that's basically just what happens in the brain after a traumatic event. So Nick and I are working together to allocate all of the proceeds from this event to go to people for PTSD therapy. Anybody that can't afford counseling can get funds from this to pay for counseling, because we don't want anybody to not be able to afford counseling.
A lot of people came out to skate on the ice while repping Vegas Strong. They raised over $3,000 for the survivors. Those who donated were entered into a raffle to win many prizes at the end. If you weren't at this event, there's many ways to donate. Here is the PayPal account. For Royal Report, I'm Michaela Jackson.
If you or someone you know is suffering from PTSD because of the 1 October shooting, contact Christine Lawler at christine.lawler.mft@gmail.com for more information on free counseling.
Baseball season is in full swing. UNLV Baseball continues to be one of the best teams in the nation, ranked in the top 30. Our reporter, Haley Jorkis, got the chance to catch up with one of the players to learn how to pitch a ball properly.
Show me your skills.
Hi guys, I'm Blaze Bohal. I'm a senior pitcher, and I'm going to teach you guys how to pitch today. You want to hit the target. You want to hit the catcher's mitt, obviously, but it's pretty easy. It's just like you're throwing anything, really, any rock, ball, whatever. Point your glove and just throw. It's simple. 4-seam fastball grip. You want to grip it right there across the seams, so that when you release the ball, it's going like this, and you see all 4 seams.
Like that?
Yep.
Okay. It's not even going to go far, guys.
3 fingers if you want to, if that's easy.
Like this?
Yeah. That was better. That was good.
Luckily for the Rebels, Blaze is a great pitcher, but for me, I don't think baseball's in my future. I'm Haley Jorkis for the Rebel Report.
I think Haley actually did a pretty good job, but compared to Blaze, well, it's a good thing she's not on the team. That wraps up the 5th show of the season. Thanks for tuning in.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Rebel Report UNLV for the latest updates, and on Instagram at Rebel Report_UNLV. Have a great weekend and see you next time.
Yeah.